Well, hello. Welcome back to the Vintage Fisherman. Um, the following video, so this is kind of just a little lead in, I guess you could say, of my next rebuild video or repair video on reels. And, I'm a collector. I buy for myself, collect for myself. I don't repair reels for other people. I don't see, if I could make money at it, maybe I would, but it's a hobby to me and I like to have fun with my hobby. But I was scouring through the Penn reel groups and I ran into my favorite ultralight reel, the 716Z. A guy was selling 3 of them for parts. And I fish with these. I probably have 30 of these reels, okay? And I fish with them exclusively, and I collect parts to them. If I see a handle for sale on eBay or a spool for sale on eBay, I pick those up because parts are getting harder and harder to find, And so my next video, I'm going to take these three reels and I'm going to make 2 good ones out of them. I only have one that's complete and it has a little bit of damage, and it's also got some paint slopped all over, I guess from, I don't know what happened. Some kind of hideous thing happened to this reel, but it is complete. It's grease choked. The bail's bent, but it does work. This one's missing parts to the bail. No big deal, but the body's in great shape. As you can see, it's very shiny, and I can do something with that. And this one is complete but damaged, and I think I can. Like I said, between the 3 of them, I can make 2 good ones. And I've been buying these 716s for a long time. And like I said, I fish with these reels. They are just super reels. There's a Greenie. That's an early one. And here's a Z. And these are original. These reels I've never been into them, and I fish with this reel. They're shelf riders now. I hardly ever take them fishing. I've got several already mounted on rods that I do take fishing. They're not in as pretty a shape as these. And so I don't care if I slip on a rock and slam one and it gets damaged, or if it gets beat around in the back of the Jeep. It's not the end of the world. So I pick and choose the ones I take to the creek and their streams, and the rest of them, if they're pretty, they ride the shelf. So stick around. You're going to get to see 3 reels tore down and 2 reels go back together, and 2 of them are going to be really pretty. I think you're going to really like what one of them is going to look like when they get done. I got some special plans for it. It's one of my favorite aesthetic modifications to a Penn 716 Greenie. So anyway, stick around. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and come back and see what I got coming up next. Thank you. Welcome back to the Vintage Fisherman. In my prelude to this video, I showed you these 3 716s that I picked up for parts, and they're salvageable, or at least I think I can get 2 good ones out of it with the parts I have. I buy extra parts when I see them. I've got extra handles, springs, whatever you would need. Even the shafts that are so bad about breaking, I picked those up off of eBay. Got an extra spool here, I bought it brand new. So I'm going to do something special with one of these reels, but let's get all of it tore down and washed up, and then I'll bring you back. It's probably going to be tomorrow because it's getting late now tonight, but I'll build 2 good reels out of these 3. In fact, I'm going to fix a 3rd one that I have that needs a part that one of these reels has on it. So I'm going to take these apart and I'm going to stack the parts because I'm going to wash everything together. You've got your drag. It's the only good drag knob I got off these 3 reels is right there. Your spool comes off. You can take the quick release part of the spool off, but this one's missing the Teflon washer, so that was missing a part. You got the quick release comes off this That shaft's in great shape. This quick release comes off, and you can, of course, wash these up separately also. So I'm gonna do each reel. I'm gonna get to the same part of each reel as I go. I'm gonna try to do them in sections. And see, that's not coming apart. These reels are that shaft's good. These reels are in rough shape. I still got some line on it. See if I can get my X-Acto knife under that line and pull it off without scratching the spool. Maybe not. Okay, here we go. There we go. And so these knobs are bad about cracking. They either get tightened down too far or whatever. And this one's so beat up, I'm not even going to try to worry about it too much. I'm just going to get the parts off of it. I've got a friend who has a 3D printer. I think I'm going to talk him into making me some of these drag washers. Oh wow, boy, that's not good. It's not good at all. Put it back on there. Maybe I can get a little leverage with it. I don't know. No, it's moving. I might be getting somewhere now. Yeah, but I'm thinking about getting some of these knobs made in black on a 3D printer. I've got enough of these little metal ferrules, I guess you could call them, left right now that I could easily get that done. I'll have the parts to do it with. I believe I got another one who's missing parts here. Yep, it's not, there it is. It's got the Teflon washer. It's the way it's supposed to be. So I got enough to build two now. Stack these up. Or build one, actually. Alright, there we go. Let's get this one apart. Phew. I don't know what that red stuff is, but there's another ferrule I could use for a 3D printed. These are all, I think what I did was, I might have sprayed some Kroll down in there. There's another Teflon wash. I got enough to do two now. There's another spool I can stack up. Okay. Let's take the handles off. Always rotate backwards. There is a washer on every one of these. It should be. These handles unscrew right here where you can fold the handle. Penn is always nice to give you that on most of their, about every pin spinner I've ever worked on has that. Take this one apart. Alright, no washer, so that's a problem with that one. I can get that washer though. I think it's still available. May not need it. I may even have one in my bag of tricks over here. That one's got the washer down in there. There it is. Oops. Over there. That little one might have had, no, it didn't have it. So I got enough parts to do two. It's pretty good so far. We'll pull the side plate covers off now. Match your screwdriver up to that. You don't want to butterfly these external screws. You know, it's not good to butterfly any of them, but the external screws, you know, it's going to be ugly if you do those. take that one apart. Just going to stack these screws up together. Stack the plates up together. Couldn't ask for 3 more identical reels on the inside, looks like. Beautiful plates. They've got the medallions on them. A lot of times that little medallion's missing. Not the end of the world for a functional reel, but it's the end of the world for a aesthetic reel. You know, if you want a pretty one, you want that little medallion on there. So I've got several of these covers. And before I start getting a bunch of comments about, hey, can I buy some from you? I don't normally sell this stuff, folks. You know, because I do fish with these bad boys. If that's stuck, take a non-marring hammer. This is a gunsmith's hammer, and it's got a brass side and it's got a Teflon side. Use a Teflon side. It won't hurt paint if you just don't beat the snot out of something with it. Alright, next step is to remove the axles. All the axles look really good. So we're going to take, they all got the little ears on them. That's why I said these little ears break off. So, you know, look for that. When you buy one, you can quick release that spool, look and see. Because I don't think you can get these shafts anymore. They may be reproducing them, but I wound up ordering all I could get at one time, the last time they did a run of them, and I'm glad I did, because like I said, it's getting harder and harder to find these parts. I do fish with these reels. I probably have 10 on rods and I probably have 4 or 5 on the shelf out there. Alright, there's one shaft, axle, whatever you want to call it. I apologize for being in my uniform. I was at work today. And, waiting on my girlfriend to get home from work. So I decided to just go ahead and come on down here and play with my fishing reels. There we go. Gotta be careful with these things. They will slice into your fingers right here. Just give that shaft a little spin and it will eventually come out. And that one's in great shape. We've got 2 of them apart. Let's go for number 3 here. Like I said, I'm going to clean these parts up as soon as I get done with this part of the video, and probably put this thing back together, these reels back together tomorrow. Now we can take the rotors off. Get the right side of the socket here. Oh, you don't have to have any real fancy tools, folks. I mean, I'm a tool guy. I've got a lot of tools, and I just use whatever I find at yard sales and stuff. Now at work, you know, I'm a snap-on guy. But only reason why I use snap-on at work is because that's the only truck that comes by my work. Mac doesn't come by. Okay, you take the rotor off and it's going to look like that. We'll come back to that. You've got a washer in here. I'm going to pop that out. Usually you can just get a screwdriver under it. Like I said, I'm stacking up parts. I'll take the rotors apart in just a minute. And I'm not a Matco guy, so I use Mac and Snap-on. I usually have to go hunt the Mac guy down if I want to get something off of Mac. I also use Harbor Freight. I also use Craftsman. Love Craftsman tools. Not a damn thing wrong with those, as you can see. One of my favorite screwdrivers for these reels. All these reels are going to, the internal parts are going to clean up really nice. they're in pretty good shape. I don't see any rust or anything. So the gearboxes, we'll do them last. We're going to do the rotors next. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to do the rotors last. Let's do the gearboxes. You can slide the main gear out, and it's about as easy to go ahead and just leave this together and clean this the way that it is than it is to take that screw off there. It's not necessary to take that screw off of there. So you just pull that out. You want to put your anti-reverse in the up position. You see how I got them up? This one's the same way. We're not going to take the anti-reverses off either. There's no point. I mean, I can clean all that up without getting into all those little... Oh, that one might be a little messed up. No, it's fine. Yeah, I can clean that up with a Q-tip and some WD-40. I'll soak these things too. So these are apart, and you want to look for the gears. You know, any missing teeth. There are none. These are in great shape. I'm going to scrape all this stuff off. Got my rag ready here. What a mess. Got my rag ready. I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to be real careful. And I'm going to scrape all that oil. God, that stuff's like, it's so dry. See how it's... And that will slow these reels down to where they're just in a crawl, you know. It's not good. I may end up taking these apart because they're going to need a little extra attention. Well, you know what? I'm going to take them apart because I'm going to bag up all these parts. So let's just do it. Make it easier to clean. So you got a screw that holds the cross wind on. Put those in a pile, and you got your cross wind. It's going to need to be clean. And you got this little washer here. So you can just kind of pry off of there and stack them up in a pile. And then here's your main gear with all the crud all over it. And I'm just going to scrape all that off and let the parts washer do the rest. The gears have a little bit of crud in them, but not too awful bad. I'm just going over these lightly. You don't want to mar them up a whole lot. One gear done. I've got my ultrasonic heating up. I will go over that machine one of these days and show you just how good it works. To clean these reels, I use water. I use 1 part simple green to 2 parts water. I've got a 3-gallon part ultrasonic, so 2 gallons of water, 1 gallon of simple green. You can buy simple green about anywhere. I just use the green simple green. You can buy the avionic or aviation safe simple green. I use them at the airports to clean the aircraft. I don't think it's necessary. I used to use it, and I don't think it's a necessary thing. All right, let's take this one apart. Like I said, we're taking that screw out on the cross wind block. Whatever parts I don't use to build my 2 reels that I'm going to put back together, I will bag them up and put them inside this bag I have just for this model of reel over here. And save them for if I need them for another reel. And I'm going to clean all this stuff up with a brush too. And compressed air. Oh, this one's really gummed up. I'm surprised it's really even turned. Yeah, this grease is probably 50 years old, and these reels sit in hot cars, out in the hot sun. They take a beating. I'm going to soak this stuff down with WD-40 before I even put it in the washer, because it's going to need a little extra help. Let's go ahead and hit them with some WD-40 and let all those parts kind of... This really helps break that grease up. Alright, moving right along. You notice that little tab sticking out of there? That piece is separate, so when you take these screws out, watch that so it doesn't go flying. This is the bearing retainer. There's two screws that hold it on there. They're little bitty brass screws, don't lose them. I think they're still available through Mystic Parts. We'll put them in a pile. Then your retainer comes off. And then this little bitty, this is a trip for the bail. It comes off. And this sometimes can be a pain. Put your nut back on the worm gear. Give you something to get a hold of and pull it. There is the worm gear. The bearings should come off. Let me get a new rag. By the way, I use these wiping cloths from Ace Hardware to clean with. I've got shop towels down there too, but I like these better. These seem to clean better. They get down in little cracks better than the shop towels do. Shop towels are kind of stiff, so to speak. I'm going to wipe these worm gears down as best I can, and they're going to go through the parts washer. Then I'm going to clean those gear teeth really well. This body, I will just take a screwdriver and go down there and get just real gently. Don't dig, don't gouge, just kind of roll it around. You can use a Q-tip also. Get some of it. Just trying to get some of the baked on, dried out grease off of it. And that body's pretty much ready. Okay. We're just cleaning up parts here still. I'm going to do the bodies first. Like I said, I'm going to clean all these parts at one time. It's just easier. I know some of this is pretty monotonous because here I am doing 2 reels at a time, and I get it. So, or 3 reels at a time. So what I'll probably do is speed the camera up through all this and get it done a little quicker. because I'm doing a whole lot of cleaning as I go. There's 2 down. Number 3. Almost let that one get away from me. Oh, come on. Like I said, when they get stuck in there, which they usually always do, just put the nut back on. It'll give you something to kind of get a hold of and pull it out of there. And usually when you do that, it kind of breaks the bearing loose too. And I clean the bearings. I don't put them in an ultrasonic. I wipe them down good and I lubricate them. That bearing is bad, okay? That one is bad. I don't think I can save that one. But I've got fresh bearings. So we're good. We're good. Those 2 are good. I'll put some oil in those. I can try to save that one, but I kind of don't think it's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to bring you back for a minute because I forgot to I forgot to take the rotors apart. So you've got a bell spring. I want to say it's on this side, but let me take one of them apart and stack some parts up and then take this nut off. This is going to tell you which side the spring is on. I can tell you right now it's on this side. I had forgotten. It's been a while since I've done one of these reels. Alright, so yeah. No, I'm wrong. It's over here. Right there is the bell spring. That roller's stuck. That's never a good thing. Let's take this side off. I put all these rotor parts right over here together. There's not a whole lot to it. I don't take this part off in here unless the spring needs to be replaced. If that's popping back good, as dirty as it is, when I clean it up, it's going to be great. Alright, let's take this screw off. And then your arm's going to flip around above that bumper there. That's okay. It goes back together really easily. It's one of the easier bell springs to do. There's your bell spring, and that's it. That rotor's done. Now, to get that roller off of there, I'm going to probably have to wrap that with some leather and try to make that come loose. I'll come back to that. This one's missing the bell spring. No big deal. Got plenty of those. It's also missing the screw. That's a little bit bigger of a deal. I don't know if I've got plenty of those. I think it's still available though. And this roller is free. There's no bushing in that. It just comes off. And we got this spring, or this screw over here. Sorry. Stumbling on my words here all of a sudden. Getting ahead of myself. And there's that bell spring, and then this one is popping good, so that's apart. We'll stack those parts up. Let's take this one apart. All these bell springs are bent, every single one of them, which tells me they've dropped these reels, and that's probably how those drag knobs got cracked. You know, at least 2 of them, if I had to guess. There's, that one came off good. I'm going to take this screw off, and these parts are going to get soaked and took care of. And once again, if it's popping, it's good. Let's take the spring side off. There's a little bitty spring in there, and you can get it out without any problem. Put it back in, but if you don't have to, why bother, right? This rotor's got some green paint stuck to it, a different color green paint. I don't know what kind of atrocities happened to this reel. All right, I'm back. It's been a couple of days, so I'm going to build some reels out of a bunch of parts. I think I got everything I need to do this with. So this housing here is probably going to be put up for parts. As you can see, it's got paint smudged all over. I don't know what happened, but it may be one in the future. I'll sandblast it and paint it black and do a black reel out of it, because they're easy to match the paint up. The green's tougher, so I'm gonna set that one aside. I'm gonna pick out the prettiest of the rotors here. They're both, these two are about equally the same. This is the nicest one. So we will start out by building this rotor. And we'll pick out the prettiest of the bell springs. These two are bent about equally. And that's where the problem is. See, these bell springs are bent. And it becomes a little bit tough to bend those back. Get them just right. Got that one pretty close. Let's see if I can get this one. And you see what I'm doing? I use a adjustable wrench because it doesn't have teeth in it, so you don't mar the metal, you know. You just got to kind of use the strength in your hands to bend that wire back somewhere near where it should be from the factory. You kind of get a feel for these things. You've done a couple hundred of them in your lifetime. This one's also bent right there, as you can see. Just kind of gotta get a good bend back on it. You can also bend them once you get them together. That looks pretty good. That one looks excellent. This is probably the prettiest one, so we'll start out with that one. So let's do this. You got the bell spring goes in there. I always put a little bit of grease in. You'll hook that wire into that hole on the bell arm. Kind of hold it all in place. Now the screw that goes on the side with the bell spring has a cutout in it. I don't know if you can see that. Find something to point that with. There's a cutout in here to clear the spring. The other screw that goes on the other side does not have that. Okay, it's just a round. It's got a boss on it like that. You might be able to see it on the camera a little bit better. But that's how that looks. So we're going to put this one in. Ooh. Kind of hold it all in place. Hold your mouth just right. Pray everything don't go flying across the room. Thank Jesus when you're done. Get it all back together. I don't want to cooperate. And so when you get it all together right, see, it should pop back for you like that. So it doesn't look bent or anything. You do need to make sure that little nylon bumper's in there. You can buy these still from Mystic Parts. Yeah, we're gonna take a bell wire, a little bit of grease right there. Your bell wire, if you look at it, you can kind of see how it rides on there. They usually have like scrape marks on them, so it goes like, I want to say it goes like this, I could be wrong. We'll find out. I may have it backwards, folks. We'll find out here in just a minute. I'll be the first to admit to you if I get it wrong. And I'm going to have to go searching for that screw here in just a little bit. It decided it wanted to roll to China and back somewhere. No, come on. Alright. I'm telling you, sometimes it's a challenge, especially in the morning, the first cup of coffee. Yeah, it's 5 o'clock. Well, 6 o'clock in the morning here. And don't know if that's, yeah, it probably is right. Okay, so we got a roller, line roller, a little bit of oil, okay. Line roller on there, and on these reels they don't have any kind of a standoff or anything. It just kind of goes together like this. I always put just a dab of grease on there because it's, even though I don't use these in salt water, it will get a little corroded there sometimes. Make sure your roller spins. You don't super crank this. You don't need to do that. The bell should fire. It's just the bell's still just a little bit bent, not overly crazy about it. Might give it just a little bit of a bend back like that. I think that'll be okay. There's one rotor done. Let's build the second one. Once again, make sure that bumper's on there, bell spring. You got the one little tab will go into that slot. A little bit of grease. One of the bell arms, doesn't matter which, these things don't normally bend too bad. You kind of put it in there and you force it into place a little bit. Just kind of, hold your mouth right. Oh, it's going to fly apart on me, of course. Yeah, we're going to be challenged this morning on these bell wires. Alright. Hang on there. Just get it started. Usually once you get them started, they go on in. Why is it acting like that? A little bit of oil doesn't hurt that, and I didn't oil that other one. Right there and right there. So it should fire like that. Bell wire. A little bit of grease. You can look at these things and see how they've been riding. See how it's got that wear on it. It may not show up in the camera, but that always goes down. It would go in there like this. Get that started. Oh yeah, we're gonna just go really fight it today. I can tell. Come on, baby. It was a long week last week. Hands are tired. Alright, come on. Here we go. Nope. Okay. It's got a mind of its own this morning. Don't know why it's not starting. There we go. Hey, look at that. A little patience. Okay. Roller. A little dab of oil first. A little bit, just a little bit of grease. Put it in there, in the hole on the bell arm, and start to nut on it. All right. Make sure that roller works. A little bit of oil, a little bit of oil. Let's make sure she fires okay. Oops, my hand was in the way. It should fire really crisp like that. That one's bent perfect. So we got 2 rotor assemblies done. The rest of these are going to be spare parts for now. Like I said, I'm only going to build 2 reels here for right now. All right, let's put some housings together. One of my bearings was it's rough. I think I've got a replacement in there, but I'm not worried about that because I'm not going to use that one. So I got 2 bearings. I'll pick out the prettiest of the gears because I don't need the 3rd gear. So I'll put the bearing on. Sorry, bearing was in the wrong place. I'll put the bearing on there. Put some grease up in the housing. There's a brass bushing up in there. I'll put a little bit of grease on there. I'll also grease where that bearing is going to ride in there so it doesn't get stuck, because they do get stuck. Grease this gear up really good. Alright. Now, the bell trip, it looks like it'll go 10 different ways, but it really only goes one way. It goes in there just like that. This little guy here slides down into there. Penn was really smart. They made it where it only work one way, and you can't screw that up. It looks like you could, but you can't. Your retainer goes on. Oh, you got 2 little bitty screws that always mess with my big fingers. They just don't want to start sometimes. They're so small. It's almost impossible to get the threads to catch. So I'm going to use my little screw setter here. Try to get it in there. That worked. It's being a little difficult today. Ouch. Not too tight, but you got to get them set flush or they'll catch the rotor. Put a little bit of grease right there. Put your rotor on there. Now you got a washer. It's keyed, and it's keyed to the worm gear, so go in there like that, keyed to keyed. Put your nut on there. And once again, you don't have to kill this thing with a lot of torque, folks. Just maybe 10-15 inch-pounds. Let's give that thing a spin and see how that bearing's not terrible. Alright, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty on here. I mean, just pick out a gear. All three of these are in pretty good shape. Let's go pick one out. Grease it up good. One of the simplest little reels you'll ever work on, but gosh, they're tough. Look at these bronze gears. This is an ultralight reel, folks. This is a 2, 4, and 6 pound test reel, and they got bronze gears in them. You don't get that off new reels. It's going to have plastic in it. Seriously. I'm not going to oil the shaft, and I will tell you why in just a minute. Just put it in there. Oh, I should have showed you this. So we'll back up. Make sure your anti-reverse pawl is in the no anti-reverse position. So the claw is up away from the star gear. You can put that in there and it'll slide right in for you. And then you can put that down. It should click. Now, I'm making a special reel here, so I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to give you a little prelude to how it's going to look when I get it done here in just a minute. But I like to take the greenies and turn them into gold greenies. So I'll take Z handles and Z spools and put on a greenie. It's one of my favorite ways to. There you go. And I'll show you how it looks when I get done with it here. Grease all this up good. Doesn't hurt to put a little bit of oil on anti-reverse. One of these little bushings right there, your crosswind arm slides on there. You got the screw that holds the crosswind arm onto the main gear. Now you got to kind of finagle that in place a little bit because it's got there's a boss on that screw. It's got to go into that bushing. Not a lot of torque here, folks. Just get it snug. Now, take your axle shaft. Make sure they're not bent. None of those were bent, but if you want to check to see if the axle shaft is bent on a relatively flat surface, give it a roll. If it's got any wobble, it's bent. Try to straighten it. If you can't straighten it, find you another one. Good luck finding another one for these reels. They are not real common. You line it up with that hole there into the crosswind lever and put the screw in there. Tighten it down. Not super tight. Let it float just a little bit. Pick out one of the pretty covers here. They're all in pretty decent shape. Got a little bit of rub at the corners. We'll go with this one right here. A little bit of grease in the screw hole there. Cover. Cover screw. And then I already had bought this brand new Z spool here. Now I got a gold greenie. That's the special little reel I wanted to put together for you. That's a pretty one. I'll probably fish with this reel. And so I got one of them done. This one here, you can see I had to paint a rotor for it, so it's going to get this third rotor I've got here to match it up. And I fish with this reel. I don't have a gold spool for it. I'm using a silver spool. That's okay. But it's got a gold handle. It's going to get a silver handle now that I've got some silver handles. Let's do that. So it'll all match up nice and pretty. And then I'll build this third. Damn, washer stuff for some reason. That's not good. Well, I can't say I've ever seen one do that before. Sigh. We'll just put another one on it. I'll get that out later. But I will be changing this spool out as soon as I go off camera here in just a minute and get this reel done. Boy, it's fighting me. Everything's fighting me this morning. What in the world? Alright, here we go. We got the thread started on it. See, now everything matches back up, and I got a spare gold handle for another Z somewhere. That's it, folks, and we'll take all these parts here. Let me show you how to put the spools together. You've got your quick release. It gets a washer, a Teflon. Threads up in, or slides up in there, and you'll hear it. You should click your drag clicker on it. You have a Teflon washer. I don't put any oil on these. You have spring washer, and you have the knob. I don't store these super tight because the knobs will crack on them. So that's how spools go together. Now all these are going to be spare parts. So spare spools. Spare, I have one spare handle. Well, one silver, one gold. I've got a guy 3D printing these knobs for me. My next door neighbor actually has a super expensive 3D printer, and he's gonna hook me up. So get those took care of. But, that's how you put a greenie together, and that's one of my specialties. You take a greenie, make a gold greenie out of it, and it's a nice looking little reel. 7/16. What I went over worked for the Greenies and the Z's. They're the same. The 7/14's the same. Just got a bigger rotor and spool. It's the same gearbox, same gears, same everything. I did forget to show you this because my coffee ain't kicked in yet, folks. But you can take this screw off right here. This is another nice. This is why Penn reels are so freaking heavy duty. The old Penn reels, they're so serviceable. But you could take that screw out right there. Take your oil. Put oil right down there on that shaft. Give it a crank. Come in, put some more oil on it, and you know it's serviceable from now on. There's no reason why that shaft should ever get corroded and stuck on you when you've got a way to put oil on it. They give you an oil hole on your handles. Push that down, shoot some oil in there. That reel's not perfect, but it's pretty dang good. No complaints with that. And if you want to stick around, I'm gonna build another one real quick. Why not, right? Let's do it. Let's build another one. We'll zip it together real quick. Hopefully. The coffee might start kicking in. This one's going to be just a regular old greenie with the silver handle, silver spool. Alright. Got your bill return mechanism there. I'll show you how this screw setter works. When you push it into the screw, well, let me just do it. So here's the screw and the screw setter, and you push it in there and it spreads and grabs the screw. Makes it really easy to get screws started, especially these small ones that my big old fingers don't work good with. There, I got another one latched on there. To release it, you just push the button in at the top. It releases the screw setter. Tighten the screws down. Works really well. Okay. We'll put a little bit of grease right there. We'll set the rotor on there. The rotor gets keyed washer. You set the washer on there and just hold the worm gear and rotate around until it sets into place. And put your nut on there. Oh yeah, spins good. Once again, I got my anti-reverse pawl in the non-reverse position. Grease this gear up. This was a lengthy video, and the reason why it got lengthy is because I had battery issues with my camera, and then I got memory space issues with the camera on my first run, and I just kind of let it all get away from me. But alright, we'll put that in there. I've got to get a washer. I've got a handle washer down here, actually. This is why you carry spare parts, because you run like I did with that one handle there. It doesn't want to, I can't get the washer out of it, so I had an extra handle washer. You can still buy those new. And grease the top of the gear up, because the cross wind rubs on the gear just a little bit. You don't really notice it, but put the cross wind in. Cross wind screw, retaining screw. And it will try to lock down on you because it doesn't want to go up into that real good. Put the axle in, a little bit of oil on the axle. If it were saltwater reel, I'd put a little bit of grease on it too to protect it. Line the holes up. Put the screw in. Gosh, these are such simple little reels. You can't beat them. Just can't beat them. These reels sell for anywhere from $100 to, I don't know, $150 right now. They're hot. Put a cover on it. These covers are in good shape. You got the medallions on them still. Put the spool on it. And we have another greenie. That is a complete greenie. Someday I need to start selling some of these daggum things. I've got too many of them. I probably have, like I said, I probably got 20 or 30 of these greenies in the 7/16s. I've got 7/14s. Oh, I've got all sizes in them. More than I'll ever use. That little screw's gonna fight me. This is something you wouldn't want to do out in the field. Just try to take this screw out and try to lubricate that, because if you lose that screw, you're done. You could use it, but if you get any water down in there, you're going to take the reel apart when you get home. Let's just make sure. Yeah, see, she's crisp, nice and crisp. Let's check the others out. Oh yeah. Oh, I don't have the anti-reverse on that one. This one's not as loud because I put a little bit of grease on the anti-reverse on it, but it'll still work the same. That's another thing I didn't tell people on this, or haven't told people about these reels. You can quieten that clicking down by putting grease on the anti-reverse. But now in the anti-reverse, when it gets, when that grease gets a little hard and loses its lubricity, it will may cause the anti-reverse not to catch. And that's never a good thing. So anyway, there's a little bit of money sitting right there. Like I said, I'm gonna switch this rotor out here in just a minute once I go off camera. But thanks for watching. It was a really long video, but it's kind of cool to take a couple of 3 junk reels and make 1 or 2 good ones out of them. And one's a kind of a modification, an aesthetic modification, but it's still a modification. Gotta love that golden green. Just, well, it's Christmas time, folks. It kind of looks Christmassy, doesn't it? Put a big old red bow on it. Somebody'd love to have that for Christmas. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Want to try to keep bringing you content. I want to get some better cameras and better camera set up. I'm getting ready to redo my whole workbench here. This is all will be straightened up, neat, and very clean looking. Come up with some trays to keep parts in better, so I can get several videos in the works at the same time. You know, it's just easier to do a whole bunch of stuff at one time, instead of having to do one reel start to finish, from the prelude out here to, you know, the completed reel. I can get several projects going at the same time, and have a little organization, not have to worry about losing parts and so forth. So anyway, thanks, appreciate you, thanks for watching.